Oh no, the video I made did better than most of my other videos. You know what that means. Sequel. So, originally my Gacha Studio video was just supposed to make people angry, which it did work. Surprisingly, I mean, there's a bunch of people who keep commenting that, but the majority of people agree with me. There's not many Gacha Studio rants that actually bring up pretty important topics. So yeah, I don't know what to put in this one though. I just decided that I'll just make a sequel and maybe it'll be passed off as better. Who knows, because I pretty much covered everything, right? You're wrong. Remember how last time I said they couldn't take any criticism? Well, that is true, they can't take any criticism, and that's the thing. Now, I'm not saying that, like, every Gacha Studio YouTuber makes horrible content, although it's a large majority of them that do. It's like, I don't know, like, okay, so let's say I've seen a lot of people give a lot of constructive criticism, like, without even, like, making fun of them, like, it's literal constructive criticism, and the person who made it were like, oh my god, you're bullying me, I'm gonna press that report button, you're bullying me, I'm angry, I'm gonna tell my grandma on you, and you're not getting any cookies, like, that's literally how I seen it go down, like, it's constructive criticism. Side rant. Why can't anyone take constructive criticism or even give it properly? Alright, I know there is some people who give really bad constructive criticism, but let me explain. Constructive criticism is meant to help you. You know what's not helpful? Being vague. Vague constructive criticism. That's not even constructive anymore. You're just being vague. Alright, let me give an example of good and bad constructive criticism. Okay, let's say someone drew a head, but it's really, the hair is, it's something. Good constructive criticism would be, the hair is looking a little flat, why not try to fix it by adding more volume to the hair, and maybe put the ponytail closer to the back than the side if the look you're going for is to the back and not a side ponytail. Bad constructive criticism is, the hair looks weird, fix it, your drawing sucks. Another bad constructive criticism would be, your anatomy sucks, get better! I'm sorry, what? Okay, how? You just suck, get better, okay? What? You're like, okay, a drawing is an unfinished house. You need, constructive criticism is giving the tools to the house. If you give it vague, you're giving them, like, a bunch of tools, yes, but no instructions of how to use them. Now, some people, they do learn on their own, but it takes quite a long time. Not even the best artists can learn pretty fast. I'm just saying, it takes a long time. So being vague isn't gonna help them, at all. No, it will not. Anyway, back to Gacha Studio, after that important PSA. PSA, stop being vague, you're not helpful. Okay, so recently there's like this new Gacha Studio app that, I think it looks worse than the previous. And Gacha Studio isn't even meant to make animations with, it's actually an anime dress-up game. Now, I'm going to be comparing Gacha Studio to another game that is sort of better. I mean, there are actual animations in it, and it has more customizable. You could customize more with it. And I do hate it too, so no, I'm not saying that one's better than the, well, actually I am saying it. I think they're both bad, okay? I'm not giving any praise to either of them because they're both really bad, in my opinion. Anyway, this game is called Movie Star Planet. It's an online game based in Europe? I think it's Europe. And basically, in Movie Star Planet, you could do stuff. It's an online game, which means there's paid membership, just like Roblox, and pretty much any online game. You gotta have that hierarchy, you know? Except this community is far bigger, and it's far worse. Instead of meeting to the lower generations known as younger than like 10, this is meeting to a weird generation known as the 11 to 14-year-olds. Yeah, it's not really good. Basically, with Movie Star Planet, everybody has the same, like, body type, which is all, like, stick figures. Like, I'm not even kidding. They are so stiff-looking. And, oh, Jesus. But you do have more customizability, as in you can actually change the colors of the clothes and stuff. And people tend to put a little more, effort into their videos with Movie Star Planet, because they put actual editing into it, other than just, like, slideshowing it. No offense to anyone who slideshows. I'm just saying that you gotta step it up a little. Maybe get a new editor. There's tons of free editors out there that are actually really good. And maybe, I don't know, if you have if you have a computer that runs Windows 10, then if you have a computer that runs Windows, like anything better than Windows 7, Windows 7, 8, or 10, then get Windows Movie Maker. It's pretty good. You could use that. If you have a Mac or anything Apple related, use iMovie. I mean, it's not the best editor, but it's probably better. But if you have a Samsung tablet, the editor I recommend is, like, I think it's called Editor, I don't know, it's really good. You get it in the Samsung store, it has no ads, it's really good. That's what I used a long time ago, way before Spiteful. But yeah, editor. Your editor means pretty much everything. Watermarks can ruin a video. Let me tell you, Bandicam, no, that's the enemy. No watermarks. My editor right now, it's free, and it's really good. My editor that I had before, like what I used to edit Oof Is Mine, and, well, pretty much every other video, like, yeah. Anyways, I made lots of speed paints using the YouTube editor, which is, well, they're going to remove the time-lapse feature, so I guess this won't be very helpful, since I think it's already removed at this point. I don't know, it depends when you're watching this video. But it was a really good editor for editing speed paints. What I used to do, if I had music in it, I just upload the video, put it on unlisted, then speed it up using the YouTube editor, then download the video back, and then add music to it, and then re-upload it with a thumbnail and everything. So that's what I used to do, and it's not impossible to use the YouTube editor. Although for Gacha Studio videos, I don't think it's your best bet. I think your best bet is to go with a slideshow app maker if you were gonna make a slideshow. But no, you shouldn't do that at all. What you should do is do what most people do and actually put more effort into it, like actually making the quote-unquote animation smoother and whatnot. So, yeah, you might as well just put a little more effort into it, and maybe I'll give you more respect. Maybe. But there are some people who are actually stepping up their game, and they have changed editors, and it's looking a little better. An example of this is the YouTuber that I mentioned before, which is called Hidden as Heart, which is, she's getting better, okay? She's getting better. But I mean, like, don't go out of your way to witch hunt anybody. Well, actually, if you notice, a few of my comments are witch hunting, but, am I a hypocrite? Does that count? Am I a hypocrite? It depends what you think. But anyway, it's all about the editor and less about the context. You don't have to pay money for a good editor. There's tons of free editors that are really good. There are some that are more on the scale of a mobile editor, which means like an editor you can use on your phone. And there's some free editors that are almost identical to Sony Vegas. You really gotta check it out. Look for your options. Just go on YouTube and say best editors, no watermark and whatever, and you'll probably find a really good one. Or have a friend recommend it to you. I mean, that's how I got mine one. Now, I don't say go pirate editors, because then the FBI is gonna come for you. Don't pirate editors, kids. It's not good. But again, with Gacha Studio, with animation memes, I'm kind of angry with the Gacha Studio animation memes. I'm kind of angry about it. I mean, I've made a ton of animation memes. By that I mean like 4, and all of which were made in an app that wasn't even made for animation. Well, there are animation features, but at least you draw the characters. Now, I get that the name animation is becoming really vague at this point, but the name pretty much means if you bring it to life, it's animation. But many people are angry because they pour their heart and souls into something, and then here comes, oh hi, I used a Movie Star Planet type Gacha Studio to make my animations, and it only took me 2 minutes, and it probably looks a little better than yours, and I'm not saying that I'm jealous or anything, no, I hate the art style. I'm just saying that, like, don't say that your Gacha Studio animation memes are better than, like, an actual animation. And heavens no, this goes for Roblox animation too. I'm not saying that's bad. I'm saying that some people say that that Roblox or Gacha Studio or Movie Star Planet animations are better than traditional animations. What? No, I get it. Some people can make really good Roblox animations. I mean, have you seen that one guy? I think it was called Oblivious HD or whatever. I don't know. I don't watch Roblox people. I watch the good old leafy. I'm like, but like, are you kidding me? I'm not saying that they're bad. I'm saying that, are you sure you have the right mindset? And there are some really good animators that are like, they're one person and they're actually really good and they use Roblox. Oh, okay, I don't really care. But, hear me out. Are you comparing the water physics of Moana to a literal anime dress-up game? Now, a lot of people don't even consider 3D animation as animation, but I do. I just put it in a different animation category. I'm also gonna rant about tweening. So yeah, tweening. I don't really care if you use tweening, as long as it. And this might be the animation style that Gacha Studio YouTubers make because they are just like controlling their arms and stuff. But at least when most people tween, they actually draw out the faces, they draw out the arms. With Gacha Studio, you do none of that. It's not, okay, this is gonna make me sound like a hypocrite because I have said before that sometimes drawing is really hard, but if you practice, you can actually get pretty good. And if you're afraid of being put in a cringe compilation, I think I'd rather be in a cringe compilation where I actually drew my characters than a cringe compilation where I'm not drawing at all and I'm just moving around an anime figure. Also, Gacha Studio isn't anime, it's in the anime art style. I'm just putting that out there. Yeah. So please don't say that Gacha Studio is anime, it's just in the anime art style. There's a big difference, okay? Anime is usually Japanese animation or in the Japanese animation style, and that's the whole thing. That's anime. It's not short for animation in America because if you look up anime, you're gonna see a certain art style. Now, there are different anime art styles, like there's Gacha Studio, and then there's like the Naruto art style, which is completely different. If you look at them, they're pretty different, and so yeah. Don't say that anime is don't say that something is anime when it's not anime. Togu, not anime. Vocaloid, not anime. Gacha Studio, it's the anime art style, okay? It's the anime art style that always gets people mixed up. Because when I first discovered Vocaloid, I only saw the characters, I didn't actually hear them. So I thought, oh, anime, until you actually hear it, then you're like, not anime. Which is what I said after finding a Vocaloid song, which my first one was how Ninja goes. You know what? Never mind. Let's not share that. That's a past that I do not want to get into again. But isn't that the present? Anyway, remember Future Talk is very from meeting a rant. You big weeb!